If a person is stabbed 11 times in the back, neck, or even in the lungs, how long do you think he will recover? Or can he survive? NBA player Paul Pierce had this experience and was discharged from hospital in exactly 3 days. It took only 1 month to fully recover. In 2000, Paul Pierce went to a pub to have fun with his friends. That night, an argument broke out between his group of friends and a group that always hung out in that neighborhood. The argument progressed and turned into a fight, and someone from the opposite group pulled a knife and stabbed Paul Pierce in 11 different spots. The most serious of these was the knife blow he received in his lungs. If it had stabbed a few centimeters further, he could have lost his life even there. Paul Pierce was hospitalized for only 3 days and was discharged at the end of the 3rd day. Within 1 month, he fully recovered and returned to the court and played in all 82 regular season games. During the season, he averaged 25 points, 6.4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.7 steals per game. It was incredible that Paul Pierce, who was stabbed in 11 places, played 82 games while even the players with the strongest constitution complained about the fixture density. When Paul Pierce was asked how he overcame the recovery process so fast, he replied with the following words: "I'm really paranoid. I don't want to go anywhere. The police sat in the front of my house for months. I was a mess. I think that's the reason I got back on the court so fast. Me sitting at home thinking about the stabbing didn't work. I went to every practice, sat on the sideline for hours, because that's where I felt safe. I didn't want those practices to end because then I had to go back out there in this world that really scared me." Let's move on to one of the most familiar stories in basketball history. Jordan was a short player throughout high school. Jordan, who was 1.75 meters tall in high school, was told by his coach at the time that it was impossible for him to play in NBA because he was too short. He didn't even put Jordan on the top team. So Jordan, who wanted to play in the NBA very much, started to do various practices before going to sleep at night. He hangs on the door for about half an hour before going to sleep. Of course, it is debatable whether it works or not. His mother put salt in Jordan's shoes to help him grow taller and asked him to pray before going to bed at night. Jordan, who was not included in the team because he was 1.75 meters tall, grew 17 centimeters in the same year. Reaching 1.92 meters in 1 year, Jordan eventually made the school team. Jordan, who grew 6 centimeters after entering the university, entered NBA when he was 1.98 meters tall. Jordan, who was 1.75 meters tall, would never be who he is now if he hadn't grown 17 centimeters taller. Since his growth was not something that was in his own hands, this story remained a mystery of the basketball world. Let's go to the 2005-2006 NBA Finals. Miami Heat and Dallas Mavericks are in the finals. 5 games in the series and the game is crucial. Just 1 second remaining in the game, Dallas was leading by 1 point. In the last seconds of the game, a foul was called on the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade, who had scored 43 points in the game up to that point, came to the line and made his first free throw and equalized the score. Dwayne Wade was about to shoot his second free throw when the timeout whistle sounded. Even before Wade made a free throw, Dallas coach Avery Johnson couldn't understand what happened. Avery Johnson told the referee that he didn't want a timeout, but the referee called the timeout. Dallas players entered the court and insisted that they didn't want a timeout. Despite everything, the referee stood by his decision and the timeout was called. The game was tied, and after the second free throw, Heat took the lead by 1 point. On Dallas' side, after this meaningless timeout, the morale of the players was very low and they were in a bad mood. After Wade's successful free throw, the team, which was not entitled to a timeout, took the ball from their side of the court and immediately had to try a shot. It didn't go in, of course. According to some NBA fans, there was no foul on Wade in this position. On this situation, the referee's decision to call such a timeout aroused everyone's suspicion. At the end of the game, the referees were asked why they made such a decision even though no one asked for a timeout. The referees said Dallas asked for a timeout from the bench, but they didn't see who asked for it. With this game, Miami took a 3-2 lead in the series. In the next game, Heat ended the series completely and became the champion. Although this situation remained a mystery for a short time, when the video replays were analyzed, it was revealed that it was Dallas player Josh Howard who asked the referees for a timeout. He misunderstood his coach's hand gestures and asked the referees for a timeout, and with such a mistake, maybe he said goodbye to the NBA championship. Let's move on to another case. Karl Malone is one of the greatest players in NBA history. This guy always says something when he's about to shoot a free throw, but nobody understands. It was a talking subject when he was popular. One day, a reporter asked him what he said during free throws, and he said he doesn't even know. So it's a bit of a mystery. After Malone retired, lip-reading experts investigated what Malone said. They said he was saying prayers for the children. Some said he was casting a spell to get the free throws in. And Wilt Chamberlain. According to his own claim, this legendary basketball player has been with 20,000 women, and people of course questioned his reality. He said in an interview that he was currently in love with 2,000 women. Afterwards, when he said that he had been with 20,000 women until that day, the sports world in America started talking about it. Moreover, Chamberlain even claimed that this number was even small after this issue was discussed. When we look at the real truth, for such a thing to be true, Wilt Chamberlain needs to be with 1.4 women every day from his 15th age to his 50th. Nevertheless, you decide whether this issue, which was once talked about a lot, is real or not. Although NBA players are rich and popular and maybe where many people want to be, some of them don't even know their age yet. Dikembe Mutombo was a popular player who became iconic for blocking and wagging his finger after blocking. Mutombo has a mystery that even he cannot solve. He doesn't know how old he is. Mutombo was born in Congo, and in his country there is a tradition that at birth, a tree is planted for every baby. After that, another tree is planted at every age. They usually plant it in front of their houses, so people know their age on the tree they plant. One tree every year. As a result, when Mutombo went to America to play basketball, all the trees in front of his house were cut down and his age became a complete mystery. The predicted and presumed date of birth was 1966, but in 2009, a test was conducted in a hospital in Houston with a sample taken from his teeth. As a result, it was realized that his date of birth was not 1966, but even earlier than 1960. You are actually 6 years older than the age you think you are, just imagine. Thus, we have come to the end of our video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you have watched and liked our video so far. Until we meet in another video, goodbye.